names
in
5D.
And this is in reference to we are just now finding out that there's a lot of 5Ds out there, guys.
Yeah.
We are not in a small marketplace.
Apparently not.
Well, I guess I can just try and find it.
We should get everybody that has a 5D
No. So check
on
this
our
out. Here's what we're gonna do. So, long story short, we started this podcast quite a bit long ago with other names, and then eventually settled on 5D when we were a fledgling site, which we kind of sort of are still. Yeah.
And now we're changing our name.
No, we're not. And then so we got as always Bonsai. He's actually sitting right up top, also known as Devin.
I also need a link to this because I legitimately cannot find it.
Below me, it's Klops, also known as Jonathan, and most of the time Fuckface. So the link is
That's because I fuck your face.
Yep, exactly that.
Yeah.
So we are
What else
actually we are also live on YouTube right now. So
yeah,
people
that's
listening on the pod. That's where all the goofiness is coming from. So here's where we are. There are other folks using our name, 5D Podcast, in 5D, different variations of.
Which I'm pretty sure we had first. I'm not going to be a dick, but we've had this name.
Oh no, we had it first.
4 years now.
The whole point was so our original name was Worst Podcast Ever, and we searched and someone already had that when we tried to go a little bit more public.
Right.
However, we changed it to In 5D, and the tagline was "So much D you can't even handle it."
Right. Which they couldn't. They couldn't handle that.
They couldn't, and we took a little bit of a hiatus because we just had members coming in and out, and they don't pay us. Stop showing that.
But what if they want to start paying us?
Okay,
I mean, I guess I could drink it with the bottle turned around backwards, but then I just look like
That's true. Or you could do
place a product.
Or you could do what some movies do, where you put a label that just says
beer.
I love
Actually,
it.
You know what? At this point, I'm pretty sure that's copyrighted.
Yeah, I think so.
I forget what movie I was watching, but it just like in the background, it just had bottles of vodka and whiskey.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was great. I was like,
what are you drinking? Vodka? What kind? Vodka? What flavor? Vodka? Yeah.
Also,
so it looks like there's two other folks out there that
podcast
use 5D.
and Wolfpack.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to bet there's more than two. Those are just the only two who matter, and we matter third most. But we own the URL, bitches. Come at me.
That is
it's
true.
Ours. We'll sell it to you for the low price of all your money.
I think we own the URL 5D Podcast. 5D Productions, but In 5D is owned by the Hippy Dippy Groove guy.
Oh man, the more we talk about him, the more I'm agreeing with Klops. We just need to have him on the show.
Oh, dude.
I want him as a guest.
That sounds good. You know what?
I don't know what the fuck we're gonna talk about, but we're gonna.
Doesn't matter, Klops. I am sponsoring you to be our in between. You are our guest correspondent for this.
You're the mediator.
I mean, I'm already on his website. I'm trying to get him.
Way ahead of you, Chief.
Yeah. I was already there.
I think it'll be funny to hit him up, but anyways, until we can get that and/or sponsorships, we got some shit to talk about. Lots happened. We've done things this week. Usually we show up unprepared, but I'm excited.
No, I'm pretty unprepared this week.
Believe it or not, I'm prepared this week. That fucking doesn't happen.
It's top security time.
Bonsai, take it away.
Oh, I wasn't prepared for that.
Oh, Muffin.
So let's do, I guess we'll do the one we haven't done. And luckily, I actually have them all sitting right next to me. So here, I'm going to back up a little bit. Haven't done it in a while. Dude, it's seriously, do you know how long it's been since I've actually read some new comics? It's seriously been a hot minute since I went and bought comics just because I've been doing a whole bunch of other shit. So how you guys feel about some comics?
Yay, comics!
So a continuing one that I talked about a lot and is actually done by my absolute favorite artist working in comics right now, Scotty Young. I Hate Fairyland, Volume 3. Finally picked it up. And for whatever reason, Eduardo thought this series was over. It is not over. This one ends on a cliffhanger even. It is very much still going. And Volume 3 is another great installment. We're kind of seeing Gert back on her quest to get the fuck out of Fairyland in this one. Like she's back on point, on target, and making a legitimate run at getting out of Fairyland. And it's great. Actual progress is made for once. and I'm not going to spoil too much, but actual progress is made, and that leads into what is clearly going to be the next arc for this. And we actually run into two characters who I had completely forgotten were even a part of the series.
So for folks who don't know what this is, do a quick rundown.
I Hate Fairyland, for anybody who didn't see our other ones, because yes, you're right, it has been a while since we've done it, so a lot of people may have forgotten. I Hate Fairyland is about a girl who is whisked away to a magical land of fairies and happiness and sunshine. And then she can't figure out how to get home for like 40 years. And she never ages, she never gets bigger, she is just an old, angry, bitter-ass bitch who never figured out how to get home, and for a while just decided to fucking run with it. She's the terror of Fairyland. She is known and feared in Fairyland because she is a god. She killed the moon. Yeah. Killed him. Shot him in the face.
Yep.
Because she was sick of his bullshit.
You know, who doesn't get sick of the moon's bullshit?
Right. The moon's always up there, being the moon. She says fuck it, and she shoots the moon in the face.
Wait, are we bringing this back?
Fuck what are we bringing back?
Moon.
Fuck! Hashtag fuck the moon for real. That was the thing, and we are bringing it back. The moon's fucking fuck the moon. I hate it. So anyway, I Hate Fairyland. It's fantastic. Skottie Young's art is on point. I still love the writing. That is, like, I read slow. I read very slow. I've said it on here before. I'm very dyslexic. I cram through the I Hate Fairylands. Like, I jam through those books. So, honestly, it's a top pick. It's a number one pull for me.
That's good. That is very good.
It's something.
All right, what else did you read?
I grabbed Black Science #2. It's a series I'm really far behind on, and either it's ending soon or has just ended. But it's great. It feels a lot like, and here's like a pre-plug for something we're going to talk about later. It's a lot like old pulp science fiction, like things like Lost in Space.
I see what you did there.
We're not going to jump off there yet, though. So Black Science is like, it's like pulp science fiction, but kind of taken to a modern point and taken to an extreme. It's about a family who goes traveling through dimensions by accident, of course, but they don't hold back. Like, if you look here, there's like 4 main characters left.
Huh.
There was like 8 or 9 when they started. This is book 2.
Wow. So it's
they
like,
fucking off people.
It's like Sliders, but with a fucking hard-on for murdering characters.
It's like a more sci-fi Sliders. Like where Sliders, it was a lot of alternate dimensions where a lot of things were the same. This is a lot of alternate dimensions where not a goddamn thing is the same. Sometimes it's fish people. Sometimes the Native Americans use their advanced powers of technology to take over the earth years ago. Sometimes it's not even a breathable atmosphere. Like, it is completely different variations on Earth. And it's fantastic. It's a really good read. It's really dark. It moves at a nice brisk pace. It doesn't feel like it's really bogging you down or doing anything like that. Black Science is an absolute must grab, must read. I'm all for Black Science right now. Another new one that I'm really, really far behind on, but has been on my pull list for a long time, and for whatever reason, I had a hard time finding book 1 of it. And I guess it makes sense that it was a hard time because the book's actually really popular. There was actually a one of the members of Critical Role has actually claimed he keeps volume 1 in his trunk at all times just so he can give it out to people. And then he'll just go buy a new copy. The Wicked and the Divine. So this is my first run-in with the book. The art's good. It's a lot like a lot of modern art. Like if you read something like Morning Glories, it's really similar to something like Morning Glories or any sort of art like that. But it's not bad. It's very readable art. It's very followable art. It's really well done. But the storyline is fan-fucking-tastic. It feels like an alternate take on American Gods, but still done slightly different. So in this world, every 90 years, 12 gods reincarnate onto the earth. But they only live for 2 years before they die. And what I like is it pulls gods from shit tons of different pantheons. Like I keep a book of gods around because, you want to know who you're going to piss off at any given time, right? So I keep a book of gods. I had to break out my book of gods to keep up with a few of who these were. And what I like is they're kind of playing with the idea of God. So like Baal, however you want to say it, is a member of this, as is Oh my god, I'm going to forget his name now that I'm bringing it up. It was another one who wasn't quite a god. He was one of the 7 demon princes.
Mephistopheles?
No. But in that line.
Abaddon?
Not Abaddon.
Zuzu?
Either way. So a bunch of the gods get brought back. One of the main, it wasn't Pazuzu. One of the main ones that we're dealing with, though, is Lucifer. And Lucifer is, of course, kind of a rogue and kind of a dick, and is out there really abusing her powers. And the whole series is kind of focusing on what they call a fangirl. She's not a god, but she goes out to all the gods' live performances, all their whatever they do, so she can bask in the glory of the gods. And just sort of gets caught up in a murder plot involving Lucifer. Because this only happens every 90 years, a lot of society doesn't even believe that they're gods. 90 years ago, cameras weren't what they were today. Things could be faked, things could be fudged, things could be bullshit. So a lot of people don't even believe that they're gods. And when one of the gods commits a murder that she claims she didn't do, nobody's quite sure what to do with her. And so this fangirl kind of gets wrapped up into helping Lucifer solve the case. Really well done. Good cliffhanger ending. Really looking forward to picking up more of the series. And again, it's one that I'm really far behind on, but I absolutely can't wait to dive in more and start adding that to my list.
Okay.
So my last one, I'm not quite done with. You can see about how far into it I am. I'm a little bit under halfway. And this isn't one that actually came suggested to me from any source. It's one that I just sort of ran into on a random site a long time ago. Saw an advertisement for it, not even a review. And just really liked the art. And so far, honestly, I'm totally drawn in. It's called The Autumn Lands.
Okay.
Really strange, really interesting, but I like where it's going. And what I like is I'm not sure where it's going. So we open up and we see that society has kind of changed. It's not humans running around anymore. They're anthropomorphic animals. There's the dog tribe, the owl tribe, the giraffe tribe, the eagle tribe, the cat tribe.
Furry's like wet dream.
Kind of, and I will say you do get cat titties and pig titties, so it is a thing. Klops, I can see you drooling, buddy. But
just
hold yourself back for
who
now.
hasn't seen some big titties?
I'm kind of spoiled when it comes to titties, honestly.
Honestly though, my first thought when I saw cat titties was, oh god, it's Howard the Duck. But all of that aside, I'm actually really liking it so far. So the way the plot runs down is the first thing we see, it kind of mostly focuses, I think this guy's going to become the main protagonist, although in a first book we're still establishing lots of stuff, is a member of the dog tribe, and it's a younger member. And his dad's job is to go out and deal with the land dwellers. So all of these high-class animals get to live in floating cities powered by magic. And they go and they sell magic to the land dwellers in exchange for food and goods and whatever else. But the dad dog flat out tells the son, they're beneath us. They want to serve us. They love us and they know they're beneath us. And, you know, we can pay them whatever we want, really. We can make them work harder and they'll just fucking deal with it because they have to. It's not a choice. They have to do this. And they know they have to do it. And they love us for that. But then you find out magic's running out. His dad's not just being a shyster on paying them because he feels they're beneath him. Magic is literally running out. There's not enough to go around. The floating cities are going to fail. They're not going to have magic to live their way of life. But there's all these rumors of this champion, the guy who brought magic to the world in the first place. He opened the gates of magic and freed magic into the world and allowed it to spread. And if they can go back in time to get this champion, they think they can bring magic back. But there's all these myths, right? What's the champion? Was he an owl? Was he a giraffe? Was he a boar? Was he a mantis? Nobody knows, right? And they can't go get him because he existed before magic, and magic can't work in a place where it didn't exist. So finally, somebody from the boar tribe gets up and thinks they come up with a way to bring the champion back. So they do, and it crashes an entire floating city into the ground. But they get the champion. And lo and behold,
I know this.
It's a human.
Yep.
Yes, of course. Everybody saw that coming. I mean, honestly, it's right on the cover, too. So I'm not really spoiling anything big. It's literally on the cover. Deal with it. But so again, I'm not quite done with the book, but what he's told us about him, he seems to come from a futuristic society. Lots of machines, big fucking Hoth kind of walking mechs battling, and he was on some mission to stop some doomsday device. And now he's having to help these remaining animals who he believes aren't real. He thinks he's either under the effects of nerve gas or PsyOps is doing an experiment on him. He doesn't know what to think at this point. But he's going to help these animals do what they need to do just to get done with shit and get over it. So far, it's really good. I'm really looking forward to finishing it, and my local comic shop actually has the next 2 books of it, so I'm looking to dive into that. But Autumnlands, gorgeous art, very followable. So far, even though the plot has some cliche elements to it, I feel like it's being done in a fresh enough way that it still feels fun. It's I think going to become a top pull for me. That's going to be on a regular rotation coming in, not just when I see that they have it. It's so far been really, really fun.
Okay, actually, cool. I might want to borrow that from you.
Yeah, no,
you're gonna have to ship it.
It's actually been really good. I'm really excited. And then still to come, I grabbed the next Saga, so I'm going to read through that. I grabbed the next Bitch Planet, and I grabbed the next Birthright. All ones that I've done bits on here before, but honestly, it's been so long since even I've read them that I kind of need to do a refresher on it because I don't remember really what's happening in any of them.
Just a small refresher if you're going to review them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you've also been watching some shit. I've been watching some shit. Bob's sort of been watching some shit. I want to talk about it.
I mean, I've watched shit, if you can call it that.
So, what I want to talk about is... I
see what you did there, Klops. It didn't go unappreciated. I just want you to know that. It did not go unappreciated.
It sucked. I hate you.
That's because you haven't watched the reboot.
Ugh.
Actually, it almost started on my Netflix automatically after me finishing Lost in Space, which is what I really want to talk about. And I very promptly turned that shit off. I didn't even press and hold that center button on my Xbox controller. I pushed the button on the console. I was like,
I thought you ripped the cord out.
No, it's behind my entertainment.
No, we need to all watch that before I go into a rant about it.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point where I don't care if you spoil it because I'm not hearing anything good. I don't even know if that's going to get renewed for a second season.
Probably not. I just want us to all actually unite in hatred for once instead of just...
Some people are on one side of the fence.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we unite on hatred for things like,
That's what I'm saying. West. I think this will be one of them. I don't like Kanye West.
Oh, fuck off. Anyways, we're talking about goddamn Lost in Space. And I hate you. So, I actually finished it last night. Super fresh in my mind. Before I go on my rantiness, because apparently I don't enjoy anything.
You don't.
Bonsai, give me your positiveness, which is weird.
I wouldn't go so far as to say positiveness. It's more just I didn't hate it. I'm not super familiar with the original show. I know the concept. I saw the Matt LeBlanc movie. That's about as familiar as I am with it. I think what it has going for it the most is its ending. And if you want to spoil that a little bit, we can. But I literally looked at my wife at one point and went, oh, fuck this. Why would they do that? And then the last minute, they kind of shifted and I went, oh, no, wait, that's perfect. That's exactly what they should have done. Goal. Like that ending really just hit it out of the park for me. I like most of the performances. The one that I know you have a problem with is actually what I've read online as most people having a problem with it.
And actually, I will say, and I'll get into it in a second, but it's not the performance I have a problem with.
Okay, fair enough. But I didn't hate... I'll just say it because it's going to come out. I didn't hate Parker Posey's character. A lot of the internet is really hating on Parker Posey. I will say it's a big shift for Dr. Smith. But from what I've read online, Dr. Smith actually went through a big shift in the original show. Where in the original show, Dr. Smith was originally, in the first season, depicted as... I don't want to go so far as evil. He wasn't evil, but he was nefarious. He's the one who caused the accident that got them lost in space. But as the show went on, and by the end of the show, he was actually more like a Gilligan. He was bumbling plot fuel. His own selfishness and greed got them into problems that the family had to solve. So the character, even originally, went through a very large shift, and that's why I feel like doing a not true interpretation of the character was okay. Honestly, my biggest low point was the mom. She really just seemed to get herself into so much shit and get injured at every fucking corner. I was like, how the fuck? So they make this big deal about this test that you have to take to get to be a part of this.
Right.
And I get that she was well educated, but was there not a physical fitness portion that she bombed? Because anytime something physical happened in that show, she fucked that up.
Yeah, but as you saw, even I saw it as the first half of the first episode.
Oh yeah, they don't hold it back.
She clearly bought her way in.
She got other people's way in. Her way in was earned, I thought. Unless I missed a part, and I will say
no.
Where I played some Marvel Puzzle Quest while I watched it. Don't judge.
Correct. All right. Okay. So, my turn.
No, sorry.
My turn.
Let me finish up really quick. Other than that, I actually liked the kid who played Will, and I always give kids a much wider bubble to fall into because child acting is hard. It just is. There's a lot more kind of shitty child actors than there are good child actors, and this kid isn't flat out shit. He does his job. He pulls it off well. He has some really sold, believable scenes. I like the reinterpretation of the robot. It's a huge departure from the original. It does not look like the original. It's a Geth, basically.
Yeah,
it's Geth. It's Geth. That's it.
I caught that. I caught that.
It's Geth. But other than that, I think most of the cast does a really solid job. And there's credit for that, you know?
There is.
All right, Eduardo, tear this one apart.
No, my favorite part about this was actually the kids. The acting. It is hard to get good child and even teenagers. They tend to either overact.
Kids get melodramatic.
Yeah, and they actually did a pretty good job. I liked the subtlety of the Penny character sometimes, where there was snark, but there was also like it wasn't over the top. Hey, look at me! I'm the class clown snark. It was just like it felt natural. Like
she had some sass. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, like that. Like the robot. I like the story that they went with.
According to the internet, he's stealing the show right now.
Yeah, like the robot. Like I honestly sometimes felt more emotion out of the fucking robot than I did some of the other cast members.
Mm-hmm. I'll give that to you.
I will say that I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it at all. There were two characters that upset me in their entirety.
They hurt your soul.
Well, it's just I feel like half of the show wouldn't have been what it was without them, but not in a good way. So,
and you told me both of them. One of them I get, the other one I don't. So hit me with it.
Parker Posey.
Yeah, that's the one I get.
I think that her acting was spot on. Like, I understand what she was trying to play. The fact that she was able to switch back and forth from, like, character types was brilliant.
She played manipulative well. She could be vulnerable when she needed to be. She could be a stone cold bitch when she needed to be.
Exactly. And I think she did a fantastic job. No issues there. My issues were with how that character was written. I hate it when I can go to a movie, and this happens in horror movies all the time as well, where you can just be like, you know, if those two just actually talked versus just kind of like grunting, nodding at each other, or interrupting each other all the time, like that shit wouldn't have been a problem. Her character as a villain wouldn't have worked because one particular, and I'm not going to spoil it, but there's one particular thread that is woven throughout the entire season about a plan that the Doctor has that is unrealistic for it to work the way that it did. It was based on way too many things, and they gave her almost like a psychic power of manipulation. It was more than just your standard.
I think they were playing on people's desperation in the situation to give her leverage.
Sure. Look, I will spoil this one part just for the sake of it. of my argument is
we might spoil the ending too, so just
we're gonna sort of talk about that too. The dad is a battle-hardened veteran. He is a fucking badass, as they've shown on the screen. It takes 2 sentences of the doctor for him to question his whole fucking outlook.
Barbarians don't have will saves.
I'm sorry. It's bullshit. It is complete bullshit. This is a character that has been shown to be completely dedicated, completely loyal,
right,
and to be completely steadfast. So in
but fighters don't get
sentences. No, I don't buy it. It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
I mean, I can see where that might be an issue, but even me that hasn't watched it all the way through, like, I don't know, maybe it'll be a bullshit moment. Maybe I'll have more feelings on it then once I get there. But I don't know. I go by D&D a lot. Like, that's what I love, and that's what I break everything down by.
You can't use that here.
Yeah,
because
you can.
No, you can't.
Everyone follows an archetype.
That is where I think his argument holds the most water. When you're writing screenplays and stuff like this, you tend to build archetypes. And when you're building that kind of archetype, the manipulative social character has the advantage over the gruff fighty character.
But to be fair, it didn't happen in any of the other situations. It didn't happen with the charismatic character.
Why would it happen to charismatic character?
Who would you consider to be the charismatic character?
The mechanic.
Here's the problem with calling him...
Well, I think he's rogue type, but I would say that his charisma is high up there for people not to just punch him in the face.
But rogues can have social skills.
And also, here is where you're gonna run into another D&D wall. You're talking about lawful good versus lawful neutral, and lawful good looks down on lawful neutral.
Yeah, but lawful good also looks down on fucking what was it? Chaotic evil?
I'd call her more chaotic neutral. She wasn't trying to kill everyone. She was just trying to help herself.
But the problem is that
that's neutral evil.
No. She's trips back and forth between that. That's my issue as well. The way the character was written, it isn't that she's like, I couldn't figure out that character's motivation.
Well, and while I agreed with you to a point on this is where I think they actually did kind of hint as to why she's like that. If you look at the flashbacks, you know what I'm talking about right now, right? If you look at the flashbacks, she looks like she's homeless. I think she's actually supposed to be like a crazy bag lady.
Okay. Crazy bag lady. Fine. But they give her way too much coherence for her to be a crazy bag lady. That was the issue. Like basically that characterization didn't make any sense. And I don't care what you say about D&D. That main character, the way he was built up, and especially in dealing with his own, she wasn't one of his own. Like, it wasn't like a pal started manipulating him.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The situation you're talking about is when she's trying to turn her against his wife, right?
It's after everything has already been resolved with the two.
Right. But it's with the wife. The problem is, you can call it resolved all you want. Him and his wife were on a brink of divorce and on a part of not trusting each other. Sure, that had been recently mended, but think about a recently healed wound. It tears open.
You're still talking about a character who multiple times has tried to sacrifice himself for all of them, including the wife.
Sure, he'll sacrifice himself, but the minute they betray him, it's a different thing.
I disagree.
I think this is going to be one of those end passes where we can't move on. So the second character, you have a problem.
I thought about it, and I think I don't have a problem with the character himself. I have a problem with the people around him. So, the kid, fucking Will Robinson.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like, you know what? Homie just needed to be kept in his room, and a shit ton of that stuff wouldn't have been a problem. Just after the second time he just outright disobeys, you bring down some fucking, you get a chancla out, and you just go to fucking town on the kid, and then the next time he doesn't fuck up and ruin potentially an entire fucking colony set of folks.
I didn't see him ruining that much. I felt like the mom fucked up more than he did.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I think the mom was a little too self-righteous, and the fact that she was potentially smarter than everybody was actually to her detriment. And I get that was the point of the character.
And apparently physically inept.
I think they just
Low
used her a
constitution.
lot of the times, right? I kind of hated how they gave her the victim mentality.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to I just mean any chance she had to get physically injured, she got physically injured. There was no point where there was she's the last person I want to see juggle bottles or something because she's going to cut herself. If there was a situation where something was sharp or could bump her or could sink or could crash, it did.
Yeah, but to be fair though, it doesn't matter because apparently whatever medicine they're using in the future heals broken bones in days.
Yeah, I mean it's space.
Space. Anyways, okay. So I just had a problem with Will. There were some very specific fuck ups that just made things a lot more complicated and extended the season like 2 or 3 episodes.
But the same can be said for a few different characters. I mean, the mechanic guy went through some pains to do some shit. Like fucking homeboy surfing in between the truck and the gas thing. Once he had it hooked up, why didn't he get back in the car?
Oh,
it was hooked up.
But here's the thing.
Doing?
Here's the thing. He was a fucking red shirt. It doesn't matter. We don't give a
actually,
fuck.
he was the Ginge, and I looked at my wife right away, and I was like, he's gonna die because he's
No, he was a red shirt.
And I get that they were trying to give the one character the moral high ground by having her draw a line in the sand by saving him.
Nope.
Sorry, the one for the mini. Yeah, I was actually totally against her call on that. Sorry, homeboy decided to surf in between 2 cars and be a jackass way longer than he needed to, and then shit got fucked up, and it became the situation of like, hey, that one guy's gonna die, but you can save the fucking everyone.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
You want me to hit you with a rock so it ends quicker, big guy? Because I'll do that for you. But that's where we draw the line.
No, that was super.
And she suddenly seemed to have emotional attachment to a character that we had never seen before.
Okay, yeah, her character was kind of weird for me. I get what they were going for.
Not weird. I think she did a good. It was like, but I mean, if you're gonna put that much blame on Will, or I'm gonna put that much blame on the mom.
Fair enough.
Really, nobody in that world helped the situation at all.
That's
really,
not true.
Everyone did everything they could to make it worse.
No. Shang Tsung rocked his fucking role.
Okay, credit to Shang Tsung, and that was the first thing I noticed when he popped up on screen. She was like, "They're saying, motherfucker's a shapeshifter." Dragon. No, yeah, that dude did his bit, but you know what I mean. Like most of the main cast, really, all of them at some point or another did something dumb and fucked everybody.
Well, actually, to be fair though, not really. The dad doesn't really do anything, and I'm not saying because he's a hero. I'm saying because they just never gave him the fucking chance.
I mean, he fucked things up. He fucked things up in a different way. He fucked things up by constantly being the "no, I'll just do it" or "no, you're wrong." He was emotionally unsupportive, even in situations where other people were clearly correct.
I think it was the exact opposite. He needed to make more fucking decisions, and a lot because a lot of the times like the mom character was like, "Oh, what should we do?" He goes, "I'll support whatever you decide." I'm like, clearly that hasn't been working.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that one. Fucking, she needed.
But all right, anyway, so
I do that all the time with Tarkov and my other 2 friends. Or what do you guys want to do? Let's go over to the left. Okay, I guess I'll go with you guys. I die. Everybody else lives.
See, so how did that work out for you?
Yeah.
It's because if I try any other fucking route, they don't fucking listen.
Well, here's the thing, though. I've played video games with Klops before, and he just goes off and does his own fucking thing anyways, regardless of what people think.
Sometimes.
I'm gonna call bullshit on that.
So let's get to one of the things I like the best, though. So here's a big spoiler. If you want to, Eduardo, you know what you should do? This is just a suggestion. Sure. You have the webpage up next to us. Can we get a Lost in Space thing up next to us so people know what we're talking about? It's like a promo picture or something.
If you don't mind watching me Google it.
No, that's fine. It's totally fine. The people listening won't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
But just so people know what we're talking about, we can have that up there. So we're going to spoil the end a little bit. I'm not going to go into super detail on the end. I'm just going to give you the scenario that we're left with in the last few minutes of the show. And this is what I actually like. This is what's going to get me to watch season 2. This is the sole reason I'm going to show up for season 2. We leave off. So we kind of touched on this. Here's a big difference between this show and the original show. Shang Tsung's here. There's other people here. There's what, maybe 20 other survivors? There's a bunch of other survivors on the planet. The original Lost in Space, you just had the family,
And the
the
Rubik.
soldier guy, the robot, and Dr. Smith. This one, you have a couple of other families. You have a bunch of other people who are on the planet surviving with them. By the end of the first season, some MacGuffins happen, and it looks like the family is now on their own with the robot, the soldier, and Dr. Smith in a new location. So we're actually going to get something closer to the original, where we're not going to have all of this other interference of a ginger surfing on the back of a truck and dying. We're not going to have Shang Tsung fucking champing it up and saving the day. We're not going to have DJ Chibata or whatever his name was fucking leading everybody and getting everybody. Don't ask me why I call him DJ Chibata.
I have no idea. I think
it's not relevant. It's not relevant to shit, but that's what I'm calling him, and it's not racist because Ciabatta isn't an Indian thing. So take that.
That's why it's racist.
But he's not going to be there. We're just going to have the original cast doing some Lost in Space shit. And like I said, it almost looked like that wasn't going to happen towards the end. And I'm looking at my wife going, oh, fuck this. Really? We're just gonna, and then it's fuck you. And then at the last minute, they're like, guess what? Left turn, blam! And I was like, blam!
So,
fucking blam!
I will say that here's what I expected to happen. All right. Small spoiler.
Okay.
There's a piece of alien equipment.
Yep.
That was in the hold. I expected them to use that to try to get to where they were originally going, and that going wrong, and that's how the season ended.
Okay.
As soon
Can't use
as
alien dildo that way.
as soon as the quote unquote other people crested that planet, I was like, oh fuck you.
Right.
I was like,
I had the same thing. I was like, no.
Yeah.
That's not even Lost in Space. It's lost on a satellite and get fucked.
But anyway, so actually, give it a rating.
I give it 10 Schmeebles out of 10 Schmeebles.
Because you saw half of an episode, you fuck.
Yep.
No, I can't give it a number rating right now. Here's the rating I'll give it is cautiously optimistic. I'm going to give season 2 a try. I'm in. I'm 100%.
I like that you gave it a Canadian threat level.
That's the best I can do. I mean, if you want me to rate season 1 as a standalone, I guess I'd give season 1 a 6 out of 10. But it ends with the promise of what I think might be a better season. And I know Netflix can pull that off because I felt the same way about Daredevil season 1.
Okay, fair enough.
And Daredevil season 2 was way better than Daredevil season 1.
I would give it 3 greenlit Netflix shows out of 5 greenlit Netflix.
Okay.
Like, for a Netflix show, it's okay. I want to see more, but if it doesn't happen, I'd be okay.
I believe it's already been greenlit for season 2. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere.
Also, speaking of Canadian threat levels, I saw something else. Super Troopers 2.
Yeah, Canadians. Electric Boogaloo.
All right. I saw the movie. I actually Fund Me a Go-Go. What is that?
Indiegogo.
There we go. I used that bitch to fund this shit. No.
Fucking forever ago.
Is your name in the credits?
Like 2 or 3 years ago. It might be. I forget. But we definitely I got a brown poop t-shirt and everything from them. They sent me a couple other patches of Chimpo, the
nice.
all that. It's cool.
Oh.
I was super excited to see this. I can say that it was funny, not as good as the first one, because I didn't expect it to be.
Sequels are hard,
Yep.
especially this late.
But I will say that there was a point in the movie where even I was like, okay, you need to stop. And I'm not going to spoil it too much. It's just I know it's just out, so this one I know.
To be fair, we told him he had to hold back on this review because Klops and I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so it's
So
not
he's being restrained on purpose.
very much restrained. Also, I kind of want folks to see it because I think the Broken Lizard, the production company, does good work, and I think they need the money. But I will say that
You got a picture.
a good. Oh, what am I doing?
It's on that side.
Oh, is it? Am I playing the wrong way? That side. Put a
It's
Picture.
all right.
Super Trooper 2.
Keep a picture, man. If you're running that Google box, you got to keep the pictures going. Do it while talking. Keep going.
All right, here we
Super
go.
Troopers. It's got people.
It's by Broken Lizard.
Mhm.
Is the name of the production company. Anyways,
Yep.
my biggest gripe, honestly, was I'd say maybe halfway or over halfway through, I had to say, stop with the fucking Canadian jokes. They're weird. I get it. Fine. But it wasn't funny anymore. Like,
That's rough. That's rough.
it was tough. Like, there were jokes after that that were hilarious, and there was shit before that was hilarious. But just the whole, like, we're Canadian and we're weird, it stopped. It didn't do shit for me there. But I don't know. I would give it probably 8 dick punches to Farva out of 10 dick punches to Farva.
That's not a bad rating.
No, not bad. Enjoyed
Okay.
it. But yeah, stop with the Canadian jokes. It just got old real quick.
I don't know. I grew up watching Are You Afraid of the Dark as a kid. I didn't realize how Canadian that was until I was an adult.
Yeah, but there's a difference between something being Canadian and something going, oh my god, these Canadians are so quirky, eh?
Like South Park?
They have other shit too. And we're not talking about spread out over a bunch of episodes and seasons. We're talking about in one fucking 2.5-hour flick, or I forget exactly how long it is.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So for our next bit, Eduardo, there's a link that Klopp passed everybody that you should put up into our
Oh
lovely.
my god, no, I don't want to put it up yet. I don't want to put it up yet. I'm gonna wait.
Okay. So speaking of Netflix and things getting greenlit, and one that so I'll be straight up right now. I'm a huge fan of this property. And within 4 seconds of it getting announced, I went from super excited to not at all interested. I can honestly say, no matter how good or bad this looks, I'm never going to watch this. So, talking about the new Teen Titans TV show, and when I say TV, huge air quotes because it is going to be direct to DC's new streaming channel that you have to pay for by itself.
What?
Yes. It's going to be on a new DC streaming service. It is going to be a standalone streaming service.
There's
You have
Star
to pay
Trek
for it on its own.
discovering this?
Worse. So far, it only has 2 original shows announced for it.
Oh.
So it's going to be
disappoint.
it's going to be this and the 3rd season of Young Justice, which I actually am interested in, but I'm just going to wait for DVDs to come out and buy those. I'm sorry. I love DC. If you don't believe me, I will start pulling out fucking comic books. I loved Young Justice. I love all this shit. I'm not even the biggest hater on the DC movies so far. And also the same for Disney. Disney's going to do the same thing. Disney is starting their own streaming service. You have to get that to go see Cloak and Dagger, which I believe on this podcast that if there was a TV show that I was going to make, it would have been Cloak and Dagger. Sorry, I'm not going to buy your streaming service for just your content.
I don't know
I'm not
why
going to do that.
most
Especially
people
with
are
the
doing that
track
now.
record. It's because they want all the money.
Well, yeah, I get that part, but I'm just saying that it doesn't really work out. It's just going to put that behind there, and then that show's going to be lost, and then nobody's ever going to fucking watch it.
Right.
There'll be that small bit of fandom out there that's going to be like, oh, man, this show's really good. It's sad that it never took off. Well, if you didn't put it behind a paywall, maybe it would have went off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
imagine if they would have put, Firefly behind a paywall. It would never take
So-
away.
One of the worst comments I saw about the Teen Titans show was somebody going, "This is what all you fucking cord cutters get for doing what you did. You were begging for this to be the future where everybody has their own streaming channel." And I was like,
Wow.
You clearly did not understand the point of what we were trying to do.
Yeah, this is the exact opposite.
Right. This, and by us not buying them, it's gonna, like, just look at Verve. Fucking Bravest Warriors was a great show, fantastic. And the minute it went behind a paywall, their shit started dropping off.
Yep.
Because nobody's going to pay you for a streaming service with 2 good shows on it. It's just not worth it.
Even if they made the quintessential fucking nerd show, a Star Wars fucking show on a paid only, and it was just like a Star Wars show, and then this other thing, people aren't going to pay for it.
Right. But let's add some fuel to this fire. Eduardo, I think now you can put up the picture.
Yes. My God.
They've released what are apparently not set photos. They are, well, I get, okay. It's a set photo. It is not a production photo. It is not this is going to be in the show photo.
This is not them in costume, is what we're saying.
Well, it is, but it's not. So what we're seeing here is them in costume before After Effects, before editing, before everything else, and with one addition. So this is Starfire, Beast Boy, and Raven. Let's start with the lesser of the evils, yeah? Can we all agree there? Like, let's work our way up to what is clearly the worst one being shown here.
Sure.
So let's start with Raven. Mostly, I suppose they got it right. I mean, you can't really get a good idea of what's going on because the character's drinking like a Frappuccino and smiling, and obviously that's not something that the character's going to do in the show. I suppose... so here's the one thing they said. Those big puffy jackets are because it was fucking cold on set. Those are not what they're going to be wearing in the show. Those puffy jackets are not a part of this. That's the actors wearing those,
right?
Not the characters. So remove the puffy jacket, and I suppose minus the hood, if you look at the necklace, it looks like that's supposed to be like Raven's pendant.
Yeah.
I guess I buy it. It's not my favorite interpretation. I feel like you could have done more, but if we're aiming the ball low, we hit a low rung. It's like my first cosplay Raven.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem with it, though.
Oh, agreed. I'm not saying that that's in its benefit.
In a company that has lots of money, this is the best you can pull out with?
Out of all of these, I will say it's the best of what we're seeing here so far.
Right, which is still... Is that the best you could do even with that? I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, it's pretty piss poor. It's pretty... Like, it's basic. They didn't go with anything that would make you go, damn, that's a dope Raven costume. They went with... All right, it's a Raven costume.
Let's go to Ross and pick out a bathing suit for you that looks close to Raven's one piece.
And we can't really see the pants here. I don't even think it's a one piece. I'm pretty sure she's wearing jeans.
Probably. I'm just saying that they just went to Ross.
So next up, Beast Boy. And I've seen a lot of people say, like, that's not Beast Boy's outfit. It actually is. The Teen Titans cartoon show did it in this black and purple. Beast Boy in the comics actually did a red and white motif like this. I don't know if it was for always. I actually didn't read a lot of Beast Boy when he was with Doom Patrol. I mostly know Beast Boy from the Marv Wolfman run, and for a lot of that, he wore something like this. Not exactly this. It wasn't like a fucking hoodie in those colors. And I am getting kind of tired of seeing the movie verse just kind of throw a character in a hoodie that looks like. Come on, everybody just owns a personalized hoodie that nobody else owns, and they can run around in superhero in. Come on.
Well, my problem is that his face isn't green.
So that comes down to this not being a post-production shot. So apparently we're not painting him green. What they're hinting at... So one of these actors has already lashed back at the internet saying, what you're seeing is not the final product. None of this is finished. None of this is how it's going to look on screen. So what this leads me to believe is either this is before he sat in the makeup chair, or we're going to color it digitally, which isn't going to look very good.
Ew.
But supposedly that is not a finished Beast Boy. And if she's just lying through her teeth and he just has green hair, fuck you. Fuck you forever.
Yeah, I
Fuck
guess we'll
everything
figure it
about you. You clearly have no respect for the property you're working on.
To be fair, though, I totally agree. Like, hopefully they're gonna add some CGI and not shitty CGI on top.
I'm just banking for shitty CGI.
That's just what you're counting on. Yeah. So there's that. That's the Beast Boy. Let's get to the worst one here.
Yeah,
Starfire.
yeah,
What you're seeing on the left there is Starfire.
yeah.
Apparently in the middle of gender transition Starfire.
Ouch. But
I'm
yeah.
sorry, this chick's kind of buff. Starfire is toned. She was never...
It's not even.
And maybe it's the jacket. Maybe the jacket is making her look bigger than she is.
No, if you
And
look
the
at the
actress
face,
has said the jacket is never going to appear on camera. That's
Sure,
the actress's jacket. She is wearing that because it's fucking cold.
look,
Maybe she's just thick, yo.
But that's my problem. Why did we cast a thick girl to play a character who was never thick?
no,
don't know.
never. Like,
I
the
don't
only
mind
time
that.
I've ever seen Starfire thick, it's in Rule 34 stuff.
Right.
Fine.
Like,
I'm fine with that. I'm okay with it being a thick Starfire. What I don't like is that mop on her head.
yeah, the hair is awful.
Like,
Awful.
no, everything about this is terrible. Like, dude,
Even I will say, and like
No.
this is, I don't know, at the risk of sounding like a wannabe fashion designer, the fuck material is that dress made out of? You kidding me? Starfire's running around in like a faux pleather miniskirt? The fuck is that?
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous too. But I just think the hair is the big part about it. Like, I can kind of buy the purpley fucking shitty costume because it's my first cosplay over here. But you know that mop on her head doesn't look like anything that any Starfire would
And
ever.
the purple
also-
lipstick, I don't really understand.
she's also not orange.
Well, whatever.
No,
She can-
no.
That could once again be added into fucking After Effects and give it
I'm
That's
more.
hoping
true. That's
they
true.
correct
The
that
green
now.
eyes and the orange can be added afterwards.
You know what I
I
mean?
just-
Like,
I don't know, man.
I don't give a fuck about that. Like, it's really just like
I give a fuck
the whole
about
top
it.
piece just doesn't fucking look like a Starfire. She had straight kind of reddish hair, if anything. They
Yeah.
want to be curly, okay,
Weird pink
but it's not
bob.
red. It's fucking pink. It's a go-go pink.
Yeah, this is weird. It's almost a rude pink.
You know what I
Um,
mean?
So yeah, I'm
You know,
not a
and
fan of
maybe
this.
credit to the actress. I don't know what she's done. I've never seen her anything.
Maybe she's gonna pull it off.
Maybe
it's
she's
like a
going to
week-
nail the
like,
character. Yes.
Yeah, but
You know?
but nailing the character doesn't also mean you nail the look. And you know what? I've said it in other things before. You sometimes have to nail that fucking look too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
at least to an extent. You know what I mean? Like the new Judge
Based-
Dredd like didn't have the look of Dredd, but at least it looked cool.
But he did though.
No, the
one
look of
thing he
Judge
didn't
Dredd.
have. The
hold
only
on.
thing he didn't have was the 80s style are like shoulder pieces.
It didn't
I
have
can
sword
see what he's
pieces,
saying here,
And it
Klops.
was
Let
a
me
thin fucking
on.
armor.
hold on. Now let me put it like this, Klops. If you just saw a photo of him in that Dread costume with no context, you would probably assume that somebody was working on something Dread related, correct? With
Well,
that
with the helmet.
on
Yeah,
there
with the
and
helmet, yeah.
everything, you'd go, "Oh damn, somebody's doing something Dread." If you saw this photo of that girl, honestly, any of these three characters without context, would you ever in a million years assume that this was a Teen Titan show?
No, I think it's a convention though.
I don't even know that I'd pull Teen
No,
Titan
I
out of
don't-
this.
I don't think I'd pull that. Like, I could see this as being like, oh, she's in some sort of cosplay, or this is a costume. But I couldn't pull Starfire from this.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I wouldn't be
or
able to pull
Beast Boy.
Starfire
Or
couldn't
Raven.
pull-
Beast Boy. But I'm just saying that I would pull like nerd convention out of that.
Actually, Raven
Right.
just looks like a girl we went to high school with.
I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
you would never pick one of these characters as being one of these characters
Yeah.
off of what we're seeing here. And that's my problem. And you're going to try and use this as a tent pole to pull me into a service that I don't believe they've announced a price for yet. But if it's more than like $1, I'm sorry. No.
Oh wait, hold on. Did you guys not see that that this is what Cyborg looks like?
Cyborg's not in this show.
Oh no. He totally looks like this. I pulled up a picture of RoboCop.
Oh, the live stream is on a
No,
delay.
I get that. That's why I whispered it. But yeah, no, that's
Okay.
it. That's Cyborg. That's the game we're playing, right?
Yeah, and I mean,
it's a nameless robot.
yeah, no, it's well, and I'm honestly not a fan of the cast they picked for this. It's gonna be those three, so Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy.
Oh, you
Robin.
mean not the actors? You mean like the lineup?
Yeah, Robin, and then Hawk and Dove, which legitimately were Titans, but they weren't Titans that I think anybody gave a shit about to the point where they died. They killed them. They're dead. They're dead.
Okay, fair enough.
They're dead.
Well, maybe that's what will happen here, and we'll get new.
There were so many other, and even if you wanted to go obscure, you wanted to go for something that was different than the conventional lineup. We couldn't have pulled Rose Wilson, Kid Devil, Aqualad, Tempest, Speedy. There are so
I was actually hoping they would do
Jericho.
Speedy.
There are so many other Titans that could have been pulled, and that's the lineup you go with? I mean, if it's me doing it, I'm going with the original Wolfman team. We're going with Robin, Kid Flash, Cyborg, Raven, Beast Boy, Starfire, and Wonder Girl. That's a solid lineup of recognizable characters.
Yeah.
And instead you pull out really the only person here that a layman is going to know is Robin.
That's true. All right. Well, we've shit enough on this. I know we're all... Actually, you know what? It's weird that we're not really that angry. We're just disappointed in this one.
And I mean, and to be fair, this is all coming from a guy who, honestly, I was never going to watch this. I was never going to give them dime one. I'm not going to watch the show.
Yeah.
Even on DVD. Even if it goes up on Netflix for free after a while. I'm not going to watch it.
I might check out an episode just to see what it's all about, but I'm not looking forward to it. All right, on that note, what you see up is actually our website. I'm using it as a backdrop until I come up with something better.
Hey.
Find us on 5dpodcast.com. We have links here to our 5D episodes. They're the not even the archive. The archive is like buried deep in there back when we were worst podcast ever. They're on there somewhere. You find them. They're huge files. We weren't very good at this. Anyways, you can also check us out at twitch.tv/Metagame Network. On Tuesdays, we do multiplayer night. And actually, if you come to our website, you'll see it live there as well. We have it linked. It says offline now because we're obviously not playing any games.
Blam.
Check us out on
Bitches.
iTunes in 5D Podcast and on Podbean as 5D Podcast. Like I said, our names changed because some folks have our stuff.
Yeah, actually, a caveat to that. The iTunes, I'm told that were found easier if you search 5D Team. So I've been told by some people. So if you're looking for us and you can't find it and you want to be sure, 5D Team is how you get to the podcast the easiest.
Cool. Thanks to the folks that showed up with us for this live. This is episode 2 of live of the revamp version of this.
Double
so
yay!
Bear with us. Klopp's final words?
I'd still fuck that Starfire.
No one's saying anything about her fuckability or not. We're just saying that it doesn't look like Starfire. Bonsai, final words.
I'm still not going to watch it.
And all I'm saying is Will Robinson needs a good old-fashioned ethnic beatdown.
Wow.
I mean, child discipline. Bye!
Yeah.
We're still live.